Hello and welcome back to the podcast. I am your host, Fallon Jordan, and I didn't calculate it, but I'm pretty sure this at least feels like the longest I've ever gone without recording, which is pretty crazy. I was a little bit more active on Instagram, but that also just kind of like fizzled out. And so I have a lot of updates. So, updates for you, the collective, of course, personal updates, professional updates. I have like a full on freaking list of things that I wanted to share. So, I am using this beautiful deck to help me figure out where I want to start because there's a lot I want to share. And, at the end of the day, like I wouldn't be here doing any of this if it wasn't for the fairies. And not just my belief in them, but my belief of what they stand for, especially when we realize that the human eye can only see 0.0001% of the light spectrum, which means that there's so much that we could never actually see with our eyes, at least as a human on planet Earth at this time. But if you're here, you know that that's changing. But Egypt has been a hot topic for so many reasons, which I will share. I am not in Egypt, but I will very soon be in Egypt. And one of the things about Egypt and Tinkerbell is that's where I had like my first shamanic initiation in meditation. And then when I realized that Tinkerbell was one of my guides, like that's when everything really unlocked for me. And there's no accidents. I mean, I had this first big shamanic initiation pretty much first available I could with this woman when I had my big spiritual awakening, come to Jesus about my past and my life and all the repressed memories that were ready to be revealed to me. Tinkerbell was the one that really helped me through all of that. So, anyway, that's why I love fairies. And also, this deck, all of the cards have a tree and a door and a black cat, which are my things. And my cat is actually right next to us, of course. Ooh, okay. So I pulled the Hedge Witch card, which I love because just yesterday I heard this concept of the Holy Witch, and it just landed like $2 billion in my lap, basically. Like that's how amazing it felt. And so let's see what this card has and where it can help me start with all the things that I wanted to share. You are being asked to consider herbal forms of healing, working with what is in between effective and yet natural, available and yet still hardly acknowledged. Well, I am excited about this. Changing the foods you eat to include more greens and herbs to boost energy and health, and begin to pay very serious attention to the quality of the foods you eat. Again, with a very close focus on the world of herbs and plants. I have herbs and plants behind me right now. This is so cool. You can at this time adjust the way you eat and find essential oil blends, which will assist with things like sleeping, calmness, dissipating anger, increasing self-love, and deepening your wisdom. Explore growing your own flowers, herbs, and vegetables, which that's so cool. I'm sure someone here is like, I can't wait to tend to my garden, especially if you're in the northern hemisphere and it's winter right now. And like the winter in the west, our east and Midwest have been really crazy the last couple weeks with like snow and ice. So I know for me, like watching the birds has been amazing. And I totally put all the bird seed like sprinkled on top of the hard snow slash ice so that I could actually see all of them because it like I literally couldn't even like open the bird feeder to like let them enjoy their food. Anyway, So I'm sure you are excited about your flowers and herbs and gardens and all of that as well. And this is important because when you begin to consider the truth that what you ingest becomes the very molecules of your body, you may decide at this time to reduce additives, sugars, GMOs, and various forms of meat too, which is one of the things on my list to talk to you guys. You now begin a journey into health and well-being and eat what is good and wholesome for you. The hedgewidge is the messenger guiding you to this new path of nourishment and well-being through the plant world. As I'm sitting in front of plants. This is crazy. Okay, so first thing I wanted to talk about that's related to the cards is I've been very much, and I go through phases. I mean, there's only so much that my brain and my heart can take, but I've been very much on my high horse about Cancer lately, because to me, coming from the mental health and the psychiatric world is, it's not like a fun place to be when it comes to like what you actually understand about what pharmaceuticals do to the physical brain, the energetic brain, the spiritual brain, the heart. It's horrible. But when I look at the pyramid, right? Egypt, everything is, I'm seeing like triangles. I'm seeing things as triangles of energy, like pyramids. And for me, like the top of the pyramid of these demons and stuff, like for sure is, like pedophilia. But it's still the same exact energy when I look at the top of it, the evil pyramid, that the Cancer stuff is the biggest way that they control us, other than, of course, financial slavery, which I'm not even going to get into that today. I'm still working my own shit out in that category. Financial life free for the matrix is definitely going to be, at least at this point, is definitely being my biggest area of learning and invitations on the constant to not just learn, but to actually integrate what I learn. It's the most important thing. So, I mean, the most money is spent on quote unquote like cancer prevention. And I mean, hundreds of millions of dollars on these sad St. Jude commercials. And again, like I've always seen the energy of those things, but there's a lot more science and whistleblowers coming out actually talking about what's really going on, and that like we are purposely being given cancer and we're told to treat cancer like it's the death sentence and the most scary thing that could ever happen to you, when it's completely not true. Cancer, so first of all, cancer is a group of certain cells. And there's a lot of different cells, just like there's a lot of different types of viruses, right? And a lot of different types of bacteria. Cells have their own, I don't want to say species, but they have their own like diagnostic aspects that you can get for literally $30. It's the cheapest test ever. If you did not listen to my episode about how my dear friend overcame stage 4 colon cancer and was given a few weeks left to live, and now she's amazing and doing all of this stuff, including coming on my podcast, Julie Stevens, please listen to that. But the reason this keeps coming around for me, and I don't have anyone that I know of in the 3D right now who's currently battling cancer. And I've only had a couple people in my life who went through it and, are doing super well because they were compliant with the right types of providers, including your girl, making sure that we figured out, so what is the group of cells? What type of cells are they? And then what are it's not even nutrients, because when you think of the body as atoms and you think of like how much acid we have versus these other materials, like cancer is literally just a group of cells, and it's a certain level of frequency in those cells, and then it's how much acid is actually in those cells that is causing illness. And so when we look at it from that idea, to me, and again, this is the energy of how I've always seen it, but now it's like I feel comfortable actually sharing it, right? it's so similar to everything else that I see in the energy body. Like there is an accumulation of certain things in a certain place causing certain symptoms. But the thing is that chemo literally increases your chances. Like chemo literally kills more people than saves. I personally don't believe that there's any circumstance at all to ever do chemotherapy on a human or an animal. That's my personal opinion. And the only people I know that have recovered from stage 4 or stage 3 who did not have chemo were super fine. My one friend who did all of the things that I, would recommend, which is, working with a master herbalist who specializes in oncology and then doing energy work, doing shadow work, all of the fun things. He had a lot of trauma, as we all do, right? But I'm convinced that the reason the cancer came back and he went from really thriving, even though like he didn't feel good, obviously getting a stage 4 diagnosis, physically or emotionally, like it wasn't the level of sickness and it wasn't the level of visible change in his appearance as when he did chemo. So that's my POV. And I'm just very obsessed with this right now because it's like we're meant to feel like it's the scariest thing that anyone could ever tell you, but we don't get scared when people diagnose this with ADHD and depression and anxiety and autoimmune disorders and dementia and Parkinson's, because when we look at the energy body, it's all the same. It's stuck emotions. It's toxins that went to specific places in your body in a certain quality and quantity of cells to make you have certain symptoms. And so I say all of that because that was something that I had to just say out loud, because this has honestly been there's been a lot of things connected to this energy, because I have, proud to say, honestly, and this is a big reason I feel like I just haven't, like anytime I was even like, I want to do a podcast today, it was like an immediate no from my guides. And it's just like, no. And I'm like, but I need to share stuff. And it was like, yeah, you need to share them with yourself and you need to share them with us and you need to share them with the trees and like whatever. I am just so in this place where, I've been so upset of all of the pain in the world, but like I have successfully eliminated, terminated, whatever word you want to use, left ear itching confirmation, more dark energies in the past 2 months than I ever have probably total in my life. And when I talk about, and I hope that you follow more people that talk about like your only job is to stay in the frequency. Your only job is to stay in the frequency. That is your job if you want to live the life of your dreams, because you can't live the life of your dreams in the matrix. Like you just literally can't. Maybe there's an exception out there. Love that for you, but you're never going to cross my path. My job is to be the frequency so that when I'm sleeping, and like sometimes I do set the intention, like we're going into the depths and like we are going to energetically support all of these children who have been sex trafficked and have had their parents stolen from them by a doctor making a lot of money by telling their parent that they needed chemotherapy. And this is the thing, you guys, like there's people coming out who were told they had to go on chemotherapy. And then when they had their labs looked at by a different physician, they never even had cancer to begin with. So like the level of demonic stuff that's going on and how so much of this is all connected to the same energy, which is why, and I've been like this my whole, like honestly, my whole life, I've never argued with anyone about politics and I've never argued with anyone about religion ever. And there's never been an opportunity for that to even happen. And the irony is that like I went to school as a poli-sci major, and I went to a small private school in Virginia, and like I had plans to do stuff in DC. And like to think back, because I was such a freaking mess back then, but again, it was a nugget that didn't even make sense and I didn't end up staying in poli-sci. I switched to psychology because of my business professor. My business professor just loved me. I didn't understand why, because I skipped class all the time. I would, show up and drunk or high or both, but she saw something in me. And I mean, I give myself grace. I went to college at 17, very young. And when you have ADHD, you're 2 years already socially behind your peers with those skills. Anyway, my business professor was like, you need to switch to psychology and you're going to be like this amazing person, like in the marketing field of psychology. And I was like, literally don't even know what you're saying, but here we are. And that's one of my other updates is a big marketing client that I am now working with who is like a dream, but we'll get to that in a minute. I just really need to share how important it is for you to share information with people, especially if it's going to trigger them, because being triggered is the only way that you're going to think differently. And if you want to think the way that you're thinking for the rest of your life, and that's just like how you're going to feel the best you could feel, like amazing. And I love that for you. But that's not my job in this incarnation. And I know it's not for my people, my community. Like, just be open to the fact that like you can heal from literally anything naturally, and you can literally heal from anything within days. I don't care if it's stage 4 cancer or dementia or depression that you've had your whole life. And I literally had a woman tell me in detail, like she literally tried to bury herself alive. She was suicidal at 3 years old. Like I've really heard it all, considering, I mean, I think 8,000 life stories is a lot. I really do. Because these are 8,000 people who literally told me things I've never told anybody else. So a lot of my stories of clients come from that, because they told me stuff that they literally couldn't tell anybody else. Because they were like, I'm finally ready to get help. And like, I know that I have to be honest. And when it comes to being honest and it comes to being integrity, we have to share information that we think could help somebody. And whether it's helping save their life or it's making them super triggered and questioning things, like, of course, the government would never want to make money off my illness. They would never want that. Like, our job is to shake shit up. Why do you think the world looks the way it does right now, right? On February 1st, 2026, like things are being shaken up for a reason. And like, we are meant to be a part of it as a light worker, a healer who can literally save children in our sleep. This is the level of integrity, confidence, and clarity that is absolutely needed at this time. And I know it's going to sound totally just, I'm kind of going on the opposite side of the spectrum with some of the things that I'm learning about overcoming perfectionism. But I promise it's always related, right? Everything comes back to, it's all related. But like, we have to be so confident in the things that we know and the things that we don't know, but we just feel, so we can support people. Because a lot of people have already been waking up this year, and a lot more people are going to wake up, and they're going to need a safe place to land. And you are that safe place for them. Like, if you're here, you're that person who everyone tells their secrets to, and everyone just immediately trusts. And I know trust is such a big word, and I don't know, it's a whole nother conversation. We'll talk about that on another episode. What does trust mean to you? But to me, it's like, I need to live in such high integrity and sovereignty and honor that even when I don't feel like I'm accomplishing much, because, our bodies need to catch up, and there's days like, and I know a lot of people who have been venturing the snowstorms know how I feel. Like, I just needed a day to just like chill, like super chill, not be on screens, like just literally do nothing. And I know, because I know a little bit about quantum mechanics and physics, and like me prioritizing my frequency and getting my frequency back up through that alone time is what is helping heal the planet. It is what is helping heal all of these horrible things, because that's what starts. This is the thing. Frequency first, the 3D will follow. Like all of these people, and I say people loosely, who are doing really horrible things and like killing people and displaying it for the whole world to see in pride, like what's the other side of that spectrum, right? Like where can I be in a place where I see the things that I see on the world stage and in the TV, and I say, this is, I'm not going to ever see this again if there's anything that I can do about it. And the thing to do about it is to get in the frequency of peace. That's the only thing that you can do. And this is a really, really hard lesson. And I really do get it. And I do want to share this because I'm now far removed from the reality I was in environmentally last year. And sure, you're like, oh, everything seemed fine. It was not fine. I think I podcasted and emailed everyone so much because I just like needed to stay in the frequency, and sharing information was helping me stay in my frequency. But I mean, I had to show forgiveness and love and compassion to people who have done extremely horrible things. And if I shared more details about the types of views and beliefs they had, you would be like, oh my God, they're a monster, like whatever. So I'm not just saying this to say it, I'm saying it like I literally had to go through this process over the past year, and it really fucking sucked, but it was the fire I needed under my butt to have more conversations. And if you do follow me on Instagram or even Facebook, sometimes I share more, but like I'm so on this health kick, and I always have been, but the cancer thing is really just infuriating me. And like I've literally had to, that's what I've honestly been having to do, is just like sit with that anger and that fury in a different way so that I could still feel it, but I could still get back in a high frequency before I went to sleep. Because when I go to sleep, I'm doing the work. Like I'm actually walking my fucking talk and making a difference. And the only way that I can really make a difference with this specific example of helping people heal from cancer is all of the things. I mean, they say, they have that expression, right? Like spreads like a cancer, which is so freaking untrue. When you actually learn about the cells of cancer and how the body works and what a tumor actually is, like you should be following me on Instagram, because I'm really sharing all of the nerdy science things there, because people are actually scared of getting cancer for whatever reason. A lot of people are not as scared of getting other health issues, and they live with them their whole life. So this is the direction that I am being led as a healer and a healthcare provider. So it's all connected, right? Like I've been working on helping support children energetically in the 5D and above who are victims of sex trafficking and are in the foster care system and have serious illnesses that, and this happened in IRL very recently, you guys, like, oh boy. Literally someone was a child and said to their parent, like, this chemotherapy will kill me if you make me do it. And the parent said, we're doing the chemotherapy because the doctor said so. So like, this is what I'm saying about like everything I preached about supporting kids and like, being the best parent ever, which like, just so you know, right now in the next couple of days, insane fertility portal. So if you or someone you love is trying to get pregnant or not get pregnant, be mindful of that. It's another friendly reminder why I love those of you who stay on top of my episodes being released and watch them as soon as you can, because some of this stuff just like comes in hot as a window. And the fact that I know of an inordinate amount of people have shared in the last few days that they're like really trying to get help for being pregnant, and then other people who are upset that they got pregnant and they weren't ready. That energy is very big right now. So if you're like me and you're single and celibate, love this for us. Although I have to share this. I did manifest a really great men's networking group. And I met some really amazing people, and I'm super grateful that that happened. So I think I spent quite a bit of time with them in December. But it's the first time that I'd heard like a non-spiritual hippie granola looking woman say something about immaculate conception. And it's one of my new friends. He's like a much older man, and he was like, we were making jokes about something, and um then someone on the networking call was like, doesn't we're like, what is something that's like we just think is normal in our society that's actually weird? And one guy was like, it's just weird that my parents had sex. Like, oh. And then my friend was like, well, not me, because I'm a product of immaculate conception. You don't know what that is. It's like the typical story of like how, Jesus is born like to a virgin. So I say that kind of like as a light joke, but like for someone who was always been paranoid of getting pregnant up until very recently, because I was always with someone that just I knew would be a horrible parent. Not even I mean, if I'm gonna be a parent, I'm gonna be the best fucking parent known to man, teaching all of this stuff. Um, anyway, that's a whole other tangent. Whatever. I'm just gonna move on to my list. This is what happens when I don't get to share in this capacity. But first on my list, locations and soul contracts. So um I had so depending on how long it's been since you've been in my world. So I lived in Atlanta for a very long time. And then from August 2024 to August 2025, I lived in Ohio. And then August, September, mid-October, I was bouncing around New England, New Jersey, and then came to Louisville, Kentucky. And then there's the cute little town like right across the bridge. So legally Indiana, but basically Louisville. And I loved it there. And I loved it there when I first got there because I'd been wanting to have like just a place of my own to settle. And the funny thing is that I had all the time in the world to be creating content, to be just doing things, honestly. Like, and it's surprising, and I need to say this, and I hope that you really hear me when I say this, but until like literally the last couple of weeks since I got this new client, um, I am not very busy, like very often. Like I wouldn't create my business the way that I've created it if I didn't have the availability to do the things that I want. So I say all of this because like I could have just been like creating amazing content in my new apartment that I so intensely wanted for so long. And I mean, it was a beautiful apartment. It really was. Um, but I don't live there anymore. Long story short, I don't live there anymore. And I am house sitting for a while. If you know anyone on trusted house sitters, or you like the concept of trusted house sitters, but you don't want to pay the membership fee, let me know, because I'm going to be hippity hopping at least for the next month or two, and then we will see. We will see what happens. So, I will be keeping. I do promise to stay on top of my Instagram stories more with personal updates. I just was like really in the shit, you guys, like really in the shit December, January. Because I really thought like, I thought that at the time that was the place, like that was my new. I mean, it really felt like this is where I'm going to have like a family, like of connections, because so many of the people that I've met are like soul connections, but that has nothing to do with me staying there for the rest of my life. Like this is the thing, is like non-attachment, non-attachment. And like, I have to listen when my angels and guides tell me to do something. And I have to design my life in a way that supports that, right? So, that brings me to one of the things that I wanted to share because I typically do. I mean, I did a vision board in 2023, and I still have the same vision board because I am waiting for all of those things to happen. And quite a few had, even up until a few months ago. And I was excited. But not all of them have happened. And like, I'm not getting rid of this vision board until every single thing on it has happened in the 3D. And again, my job's to stay in the frequency. But I've ticked a couple of things off my vision board just in the past 2 weeks, which is amazing. And one of them is influencer marketing. So this is the other thing of like the universe is going to present it. Because I say influencer marketing, you're going to think whatever you think. When I initially put influencer marketing, I was thinking like, I want to be paid for being myself. And like, I want to partner with influencers who are actually passionate about mental health because a lot of these people say that they do, but they're still working for the dark. If they're telling you to go on psychiatric medication or take Ozempic or whatever, like they're doing, whether or not they realize it, like they're still using dark magic. Okay. And I think that this might be a conversation that I have more often. And if you don't like me talking about it, then this is your cue to, you know, part ways. Like I'm wearing my black velvet. Okay. Like I don't think I've ever done my makeup this dark. And I actually got on camera and looked at myself and I was like, holy shit, that's dark. And I even took some off. But like, I did a huge, amazing sacred rage ceremony, which I knew I needed to do for a very long time. But like, if you've ever had those dreams where you try to scream and you can't, like, that's my reality. Like, that is my reality. I don't feel safe screaming. I don't feel safe being angry whatsoever. And I knew that it was holding me back. And anytime I would get a reading or anything in the past many, many years, like it's always like, you have to feel the anger. So I was able to have that sacred rage ceremony. My amazing friend Jane, and if you're not already following her on Instagram, you'll see her under my friends Jane the guide. Please give her a follow. She is a nomad like me, and like her biggest joy is to do women's like meetup groups, so like meditation, shamanic journeys, all the things. And because she travels around a lot, like you never know when she's going to be in your town. So highly recommend getting in her world. She's been a huge reason why I had to have this extremely challenging period of really thinking I found my new home and like it's not, and I was not meant to be there very long. And I was getting nudges like when I would go to look at furniture or like anything like that. It's just like, nope, 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 nope. And I'm like, I don't understand. I'm like, I'm literally like sitting on a mattress in an empty apartment, like watching something that makes me happy on my laptop. Like I literally didn't have anything. And the universe was not providing because it was trying to tell me you're not supposed to be here for very long. And like you just did the thing, right? You just did the impulsive thing. Anyway, so the sacred rage ceremony was huge. And then this is kind of what unlocked all of this stuff that I've been going through and feeling because I've always felt angry inside. And I mean, I was thinking about this the other day, like those heart rate monitors and things like that. I was like, I wonder what would happen if like I had that on me, like when I see commercials for Febreze and for pharmaceutical companies and the St. Jude's, we need your money, because I'm sure it's wild, right? I'm sure it's like this person is like in a full-on rage, like dissociating. Like that's literally just my baseline. But I had to really, really feel it. And I'm so grateful that I was able to do that with Jane. And it's really changed a lot. So if you've never done anything like that before, like I highly welcome you to look into that for yourself. And like, obviously it has to be the right person. Like, um, but so many of us are just taught to like, just like heal it. Like it's going to be totally fine. Like, yes, feel your feelings, like do the shadow work, but you don't have to go all the way to the bottom of the ocean. Like you can just go, a few 100 feet. When it's like, no, you got to go all the way to the depths, to the absolute bottom, and then come back up. And I wasn't able to do that until recently. Maybe I'm in black because I'm having a funeral for myself. I don't know. Um, Death has been big. I have a lot. I've had friends who have lost loved ones. I have had I've had a lot of people losing people in the 3D, and then at night I'm having premonition-ish. I mean, like for some, it's usually like, I don't know. There's been a couple and it was very sad, but it just is what it is. And it wasn't like in a what can I do to save this person kind of way. It was like a showing me of an information, like the Catherine O'Hara thing. Like, um, yeah, like I was with her a few weeks ago in the quantum, and I, of course, was scared because typically when I see a celebrity in the quantum, it's because I'm there to, energetically terminate them because they're a pedophile and blah, blah, blah. But with her, she literally looked like an angel, and I was just like, why are you here? And I literally don't remember anything that happened. I just remember when in IRL 3D someone texted me because I've been a Catherine O'Hara fan since I was a little girl, like Best in Show, if you know that movie. Like one of my favorite movies of all time. Like I'm addicted to all the memes about it. Like it's just hilarious. So I've been a huge fan of hers for a long time. And I literally had a deja vu of my friend texting me who I hadn't talked to in a long time. And she was like, hey, like, I'm so sorry to hear about Catherine O'Hara. And I was like, yeah, I'm sad, but also like, I feel so at peace for her because I like to think that she's one of the good ones. And if I'm wrong, then I love that for me, right? But anyway, so this whole influencer marketer thing, that's what I was talking about. Um, so I have been following someone for a very long time who, and this weaves into the perfectionism thing. Because I've had a lot of messages from a lot of my angels and my mentors, like real mentors, like, you're still not over this perfectionism thing. And it's funny because on 9/11 on my birthday, I was on a group call with one of my mentors, and like she usually picks like one or two people once a month to do like a free mini reading for. And I was like, it's my birthday, please pick me, please pick me. I didn't say that, but like, and psychically I did. And she's like, Fallon, we're gonna do a reading for you. And I'm like, oh my God, it's my birthday reading. And she's like, you're still not dealing with your perfectionism stuff, and it's blocking your peace. So your words for your 41st year of life are peace and perfectionism. And I was like, wow, love that for me, right? So I have been following, and I'll share if you reach out to me personally, I'll share who it is, but I'm just not ready to like release her name yet. But so there's this woman who to me is like perfect, and she has a very big spiritual brand, and I love her because her content triggers me. It's channeled, which, like we can say everything that we say and do is channeled, but like there's different levels of channeling, right? Like the way that I channel is very different than people like her, for example. So that like close their eyes, their voice shifts, they're channeling. But a lot of the things that she's been talking about were related to like eating more herbs and working with flower essence and not eating meat. So that's why I thought that the card that we pulled for this episode was very interesting, because that was one of the things that I had been struggling with. And the next level of my kidney liver regeneration plan with Quinton Wellness is going to involve no meat. And I've never gone no meat in my whole life. It's like always been like a fear because I'm just an animal, let's be honest. Like I love my steak rare and I get the energetics of it, but I just I just do better when I eat meat. Anyway, so long story short, always loved her, saw her as epitome of perfect because her content's awesome, her makeup always looks perfect, she's dropped it gorgeous, and all of her content is beautiful. Like when I look at my feed, like the most beautiful images, videos, branding. I'm literally like perfect. Like I think it's perfect. So when I saw that she's hiring a marketing director, I literally went to bed that night after sending in my application. And thankfully it was a premonition, but it could have just been my ego and subconscious. But I literally had a dream of me not just interviewing with the other people, right? Interviewing with her. And it's just like, we aren't even like, yeah, she's asking me questions about the job and like my experience, but like, we're just channeling and co-creating together. And that's what fucking happened. And this or something better, like I'm not just doing like the regular marketing tasks. Like I'm head of marketing and I'm gonna be creating some crazy stuff. And again, like I'll come out with all of it like when I feel more comfortable. But this is the thing is like I have been there for just a couple weeks now, but like all my time and energy has gone into it. Because I love her and like I already listened to all her content and now I get to be a part of like the back end of how she makes this beautiful content and presents it to the world. Like I I just it's still amazing and I've never had a reaction to receiving that offer letter in any context of my life as I felt like every single range of emotion I could possibly feel, like every type of crying, like it was crazy. It is literally like crazy how this happened. Um, but the perfectionism thing, I have made so many mistakes since I started. Like, I was laughing because if you're not in my Signs Synchronicities group on Voxer, highly recommend. You can just go to fallonjordan.com, scroll down to the bottom, and join there. But I shared a couple things in the Signs Synchronicities group. I just have been having so many signs of synchronicities that are the same and like they're sticking, like they're staying for a very long time. Puzzles has been one. But then another has been just this like mirroring mirrors, just it's a thing. And so someone was saying that they have been making they'd had a lot of downloads or something. Like I've never had this many downloads in this amount of time, like cumulatively my whole lifetime's 30. Like it's everything has happened that has ever happened in the past month. And that's literally how I feel about these mistakes. Like I I have to tell this story because it's so fucking crazy. Um, the craziest people I've ever met were restaurant owners. The most abusive work environments were restaurants and with the owners. I had an owner, and I think I worked like 5 days a week there, and then I nanny during the week. So I was pretty busy. Um, this restaurant, if you made a mistake, like if you like someone order a side salad and instead you put in fries and they were delivered fries, like that's a mistake. You had to cook, like the punishment was you had to cook a home cooked meal for the entire staff. And there's about 40 people who worked in this restaurant. It's a very famous restaurant. Probably been there if you've been to Maine because it's like a restaurant next to a very famous lighthouse. Anyway, and I made one mistake that whole summer, and it was that type of situation. Like they said side salad, and somehow I bring in side of fries instead. And I had to literally cook a homemade dinner for the entire people to keep my job. And she was so mean. Anyway, so that's to show like I haven't made many mistakes in my life, and especially with work, like being a Virgo, being detail oriented, like my biggest gift on this planet is precision. Up high like a falcon. That's why I chose my name Fallon. It's close to a falcon. I can see the mouse. I can see it from that far away, and I know exactly how to go in and get it. Like my gift of precision is like otherworldly, and I'm so grateful for it. But that coupled with I have to be perfect and I can't make mistakes, especially in work, because that's like the only place that I was able to perform at the level that I really wanted to. Even in sports, I mean, I never made it to Division 1, so to me, like obviously I wasn't perfect because like if I didn't make it to D1 or the Olympics, like why even bother? That was my mindset. But work, usually moving up the ladder quickly, getting a lot of recognition. And it doesn't have to be like fancy awards or anything like that. Like some of the beautiful restaurants I've worked with the other side of the spectrum of restaurant owners, like amazing, wonderful people who I consider family to this day. Um, just, hey, you know what? Like you are so amazing, and we're so grateful that you're part of our team and our family here at this restaurant. And like, here's a bottle of wine. You know what I mean? Like, but because my work ethic was so, if I make a mistake, like I'm gonna die, basically, is like the actual program that I had. Um, and that's what I've been working through currently because I've just made so many mistakes. I've literally made more mistakes in the last 3 weeks that I've made in any job, all of my jobs cumulatively since I was 14. So I share a lot of this because if you're working on your perfectionism stuff, um, we can think we're doing much better. I really did when I was making mistakes in life. Occasionally I'd make mistakes in work, but like I haven't really had that many clients that are not energy work clients, so there wasn't anything for me to mess up, right? Um, so it's just been like, oh, I made a mistake about I thought our appointment was this time, it was another time meeting a friend or something weird that again still past Fallon would have flipped out. But until a few weeks ago, when I went into like, the grand finale of all these lessons around perfectionism and making mistakes at work, when I say work, like people that are paying me to do a job extremely well, right? Especially a brand that I've always seen as like the epitome of like the best branding ever. Um, I was celebrating my mistakes and I was like, it's okay. Like, look at me. Like, I'm healing. This is so great. It's not been the mindset the last few weeks, you guys. Not been the mindset at all. But because I am in a physical and emotional environment that is super nurturing and supportive, and I'm very grateful to you that Archer has had the support that my cat has had the support that he needs too, because he's been going through so much change. And I'm just super grateful for that, and for Patty, who is our animal communicator. Um, so I've been handling it a lot better than I thought I would, but it's still, I mean, like, it's just crazy. Like my ideal client, my ideal brand to be a part of, like see the behind the scenes, like being a part of this mission, which is, I mean, this woman's mission is so big. I can't even put it into words. Like you guys, it's insane. It's literally changed the world stuff. To be making mistakes, like that reflect the companies, just, it's been a really interesting journey. Um, and that was something I had on my list about new skills, because I'm learning so many new skills that I've never done before. And if you're an OG or you've heard me in other, like if you've taken a course from me or a workshop, like I'm not a tech queen, like video editing, like making videos and stuff look pretty. Like to me, that's still very tech-ish. And I didn't think I could do it. It's something that this client really wanted me to do. And I was like literally losing sleep over it, doing a good job, doing it perfect. And then when I finally just put my arms up and I was like, you know what? Like I remember I said, I'm going to come back to this tomorrow with fresh eyes. and I'm just going to like pray and meditate, and I'm going to figure out how to do this video editing thing right. The first video that I did for this client, I mean, I haven't checked in the last couple of days, but like over 650,000 views on this video that I made. And I like literally started crying. I was like, oh my God, I fucking did it. Literally days ago, my biggest fear, the thing I said I would never do. And then I meet this client and I'm like, oh my God, like I get to help her with her social media, which is like my favorite account to follow. Like this is crazy. But again, so much pressure. So I say all of this because like sometimes the things that are so aligned for us are going to trigger us the most. And I mean, trigger us to the very core of our being, right? Like if I'm Fallon and I'm someone who, you know, can heal people with my mind, but like can't seem to get the email signature to look exactly the way that it's going to look like, what does that say about me? Like, I must be dumb. There must be something super, super wrong with me. Like, all of these stories that, like, I had to feel and I had to coach myself through it. But also, I'm always about walking your walk, talking your talk. Like, I'm a brain expert. Like, learning new things is the most important thing for your brain, right? Learning these skills, I mean, I've literally felt my neurons just like growing and expanding. And I've had a lot of synchronicities about that, like what it looked like. I'm seeing it in my like actual third eye, like all these connections and lights and all these beautiful things that are happening. And I'm like, wow, this is so cool. Look at me learning new skills and like allowing myself to feel the feels. But like literally, when I stepped back, I led with my frequency, talked myself through these negative beliefs about tech and my ability to do things. First video got 650,000 views. And then client asked me, she's like, hey, can you talk for a second? I was like, sure. She's like, because there's a few people who do her social media. She's like, do you know who did this video? And I looked at it and I'm like, that was me. I did that. She's like, this is the first post that I've ever seen that like I feel like you actually channeled me and put it in a post. And I was like, wow. This is the lesson. Take it or leave it. Lead with frequency. Get your frequency high, stay in the frequency, and all these other things will fall into place, even if they're the things that you are the most terrified of and think you can't do. An example, and I like to think of it as like if you had a magical power, what would it be? It's probably like for me, it's always been like I want to be able to speak all languages and I want to be able to fix stuff just like very easily, like tech stuff, like cars, whatever, build houses. Like I've always just wanted to be able to do that, but also speak all the languages. Like if I believe what I believe, which is anything is possible, there's no reason that I can't learn languages and learn them faster, right? So learning new skills is good for your brain. Who knew? If you didn't know that I have a brain bundle, it's all of my courses and it's amazing. And I now have it as a link in my Instagram bio. So if you didn't know that, I wanted to make sure that you knew about it because that was something that came through really big and hot is like, I want everyone to have this information and they can do with it as they want. I might as well just give it all to you. So that's what I did. Brain bundle. Looking at my list. So I've been getting a lot of intuitive downloads about marketing. Shocker. And this is the thing is like magic wands. Like my goal is to change the world. And part of that is I do my podcast from my pool. And I invite people who I like to come to my pool and we do the podcast live. Like that's the end goal. If I haven't shared that before, or if you haven't heard me talk about it in a while, like that's the goal. We're meant to be in water. We're meant to be in the sun. We're meant to have fun. We're meant to share information with people. To me, that's efficiency. at its finest. But until that is more 3D, more here in the 3D, I've been getting a lot of pings about different ways to share information. So if you have any suggestions, like please send them to me, because like I can keep podcasting forever and ever and ever, like 1,000%. But if there's different ways that you want the content, or like I just want to know more, like what would be the biggest service is what I'm saying. Cause like I kept getting the guidance to do more like daily vlogs on YouTube about my daily life. And I started doing it. And then that's kind of when all hell broke loose, which is hilarious because I feel like I was getting those nudges to open up to the vulnerability, to the idea of having to live a physical life in physical non-attachment to any person, place, or thing besides my cat. And that energy, I mean, I was in super flow when I started doing that. And I feel like it was literally just a couple of days. And I've already taken down most of the videos. But like, I had to do that to get in the frequency. But now it's like, just kind of like a give the people what they want sort of thing. But I literally was like, just so in the shit that I was like, I can't even like go on camera confidently right now. Like I just, you know, was not happening. But I felt your love. Last thing I had on my sticky is a question. So what are you naturally good at? Because that's your gift. And this comes back to the perfectionism thing. So like if you know, like for me, like my gift is precision. Like I see things, like with this client, like I see the spreadsheets, I see the data, I see all of the things, but things stick out to me in a different way through a different lens than like a man that's only ever looked at companies from a spreadsheet perspective and has literally no belief in God and no connection to the quantum field. And the best part is that like that's the whole brand of this client. Like that's like expectation number one is always frequency. Second is all the other stuff. So I just wanted to ask like and give you clues into like what are you naturally good at, because that can be your thing. And if it's literally just listening to people pay people a lot of money to just listen to them. You just have to brand it and market it in a different way, right? And then I've had quite a few energy healing coaching clients who wanted to do like a short container, you know, like between like 4 and 12 weeks. And we just like talk about whatever in Voxer on a regular basis after their human design reading. Of course, always needed the human design reading first, because I don't know how to support you if I don't know who you are, and I don't know who you are if I don't have your human design chart. And they've had so many psychic gifts come on, and then I'm like, is this random or no? Like, oh no, I always thought like I was an animal communicator, but like now it's real. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then another person is like, yeah, I've always just known like how to do facial massages in a way that like a lot of people go through all these crazy certifications and stuff to learn about like lymphatic drainage and fascia and release and like cranial sacral therapy and like all the fun things. But like there's some people, they just know exactly what to do and like, yeah, get experience and stuff, but like you don't have to do all of the things is kind of what I wanted to share, right? Because whatever the thing is that you're naturally good at is the thing that people want to pay you for. So that was just something that kind of popped in when I was putting my little list together. Yeah, so a lot of stuff. And I just wanted to reiterate because it's on my sticky and it's sticking out to me. To me, this is so important for people to understand. Like, whatever you have going on health wise, whether it's attention issues, memory issues, severe memory issues, typical, just regular brain fog, pain, arthritis, cancer. Like, to me, they're so similar when you look at the energy body. And like, this is an invitation to start reacting to things. And this is funny because I actually learned this from my oncology mentor. He said, and I'm just going to trigger people, but it's fucking hilarious. He's like, yeah, he's like, when I see a stage 4 cancer client, it's with the same severity that I see someone who has a hangnail. Like, it's really painful and we got to kind of help them with a hangnail. But to me, it's all the same. And I was like, wow, cancer and a hangnail being the same thing, bro. That's a pretty big thing to say. But it landed, and he said this to me many, many years ago. And it's just always stuck with me because now that more science coming out, more evil in the world stuff is coming out, especially when it comes to money and pharmaceuticals and chemotherapy, and sun cancer. I'm just like, oh yeah, like that's why I've always seen, and if you've ever heard me teach specifically about dementia prevention is cancer prevention. Dementia prevention and cancer prevention are autoimmune disorder prevention. Like, they're all the same thing. So that's the invitation. That's why I have the brain bundle, because I don't say the C word in it, but it's literally, when you look at the body, the human body, which is like the greatest technology in the world, we need to have certain levels of, like magnesium and ferritin and zinc and copper. Like, we need certain things in our body for our body to work correctly. And we don't want other things in our body when it doesn't work correctly. And when you start looking at things from the pH level, and you think of that at a cellular level, and the different types of cells, especially cancer cells, there's specific types of cells that you can get a $30 test from. You can learn all about that through the podcast episode I did with Julie Stevens about recovering from stage 4 colon cancer without chemo. And you can go into the whole oncology herb mastery stuff. And I sprinkle a lot of it in my courses. And like I said, I have put together a whole cancer protocol, prevention, or whatever the other word, because it's when you start thinking of it on a global scale of who's running the world and what they want, and it's your soul, the global scale, and then you think of your body and you understand like how amazing the human body is. Fun fact: why does someone have a heart attack and we pump them through electricity, and then we think that somehow that's any different than doing energy work? It's all frequency. It's measurable. You're at the hospital and you hear the beep, beep, beep. They're measuring stuff. All stuff that we can measure in other safe ways. Please don't ever stick me with a needle, right? But it's so all connected. It's so all connected. And one last fun fact, and I'll close. And this blows people's minds and they don't think it's true, but like, whatever. So we have all these veins and like arteries and all this stuff, right? And we have amazing brains, of course, but the length of all of the veins and arteries and all of that stuff that we actually have in our body, my body, your child's body, your mom's body, we all have like hundreds of miles worth of these arteries and veins and things like that. It's enough to wrap the entire planet Earth twice. Like, you're literally 2 Earths is what I'm trying to say. Your body is 2 Earths. How can you even think that you are not the coolest, most magical thing that has ever lived the planet, to the point you can heal the entire universe with your mind? What would the people on the other side think? Right? There's good, evil, right? If there are entities out there who want to rule the universe, how are they going to do that? They're going to take the power from the people who have the most power, and that is you, a human on Earth at this time. That is you. This is what people need to start thinking. Like, we have to start thinking big picture. And I'll tell you, I thought big picture. And then when I did my shamanic journey, back around to what I talked about at the beginning, and I was in the Egyptian temples, and I was like, why did I come into this crazy fucking family? And why is Tinkerbell here? And everything suddenly made sense within minutes of having that whole, I mean, Egyptian initiation. I had energetic shackles removed. I had like ancestral stuff removed, matrix slavery stuff removed, all this stuff removed within minutes. I'm in the depths of the Egyptian temples. And then Tinkerbell and my other angels brought me out of Earth so I could look at Earth from outer space and be like, whoa, yeah, it's big, but also I don't know if it's that big compared to all the other stuff that's out here. And then I think about this body that I have that literally has 2 Earths worth of stuff in it. And like, the human heart can literally heal anything, and the human heart can literally do anything. How could I ever doubt that I'm here for a bigger purpose? How could I make an excuse for not doing the thing? Right. And it's funny, I'll record another episode about the psychic gift stuff because I mean, that's most whenever I'm having happy daydreamy thoughts, I'm just thinking about spiritual gifts and like all the cool people that I'm connected to and all the ways that we get to connect in the quantum. That's what makes me happy. And then, I have to go to the other side of things, the darkness, the winter. And that's like, why won't more people just wake the fuck up and stop instead of killing themselves and killing their children? But that's what we're here to do, is to have all of those human experiences and share. We need to be sharing. Sharing is caring. It's okay to trigger people. It's not the end of the world. It's really not. But that's also where your energetic discernment comes in. Obviously, don't make unhealthy decisions. But I know that none of you would here because you guys always lead with your heart and you're always making sure you do what you can to not hurt other people's feelings. So it's more a message for me. The dark aspects of Fallon that were witnessed. They were really witnessed. That sacred rage ceremony was really, really something. Highly recommend. Can also just scream in your car or whatever. But yeah, I couldn't do it until recently. So, but I love you, and I know that was a lot, but I'm grateful that you're here. So like I said, I have the Signs and Synchronicities group going. So basically, instead of doing Telegram, I do this. And so just when I start seeing, like, I'll be typing a word and then a video or background TV or something will say like the word that I'm typing. Like, it's that, like, in that millisecond, I'm having a synchronicity that's like crazy cool and I just need to share it. So I share it in the Signs Synchronicities group. And the goal is for you to just feel connected and like, yeah, some of the messages are for you and some of them are not. They're for other people, but we get to co-create in the quantum together without like blowing up your phone constantly. Like, I never want to be a distraction from real life. Like, I want to just be a part of your life and, hopefully a positive aspect of that. But it's just a really fun place to be. So if you want to get into that, just like I said, go to fallonjordan.com and scroll to the bottom. And I'll obviously put the link below too. But I did make some changes to the website if you haven't seen. So I think it would be good to, I mean, you heard and felt some of the stuff that has shifted for me, obviously, in this share today. But I think it's important to see, and I think that this is something else that comes through, is like really being asked to read more instead of listening and watching. Like, we're really being called to read. So one of my ideas was to do more of a blog journal. Not sure how that's going to work out or if I'm going to do it. But that was just another idea. So again, like this is for you, and I want to make the most of our time. So if you have a way of receiving teachings and content from me that you would like to see, that I have or have not done before, like please just let me know. info@fallonjordan.com, or you can just message me on the Instagram. But I'm sending you all so much love.